On an ordinary morning, as the alarm mercilessly rang in intermittent bursts, Oly couldn't help but emit a sigh of despair. His daily life felt like an endlessly looping rerun, devoid of novelty. Each morning, he was confronted with a relentless cycle. Wake up, go to work, come home, sleep. In Urli's world, work loomed like a ruthless beast, constantly roaring, forcing him to confront various mundane and tedious tasks. He yearned to escape this lifeless routine, yet found no true way out. However, this morning seemed different. As he crawled out of bed, preparing to embark on another dull day, a piercing scream suddenly echoed from outside, shaking the entire neighborhood. Oly, intrigued, walked to the balcony and peered outside. What he saw surpassed imagination. The streets were filled with decrepit zombies, howling and relentlessly attacking humans. Meanwhile, a strange smile crept across Urli's face. Finally, he had an excuse to skip work for the day. He jubilantly shouted and danced in joy. Yet, in the midst of his elation, a zombie suddenly barged into his abode. Squeezing through the partially closed door, Urli's joy vanished instantly, replaced by intense fear. He fought desperately against the zombie, resisting the force of death. In the end, after a harrowing struggle, Oly finally managed to knock down the zombie. But he himself collapsed from exhaustion. When Oly opened his eyes again, he found himself lying on the floor. But this time, the sensation was different. His body felt stiff and heavy, his muscles devoid of flexibility. He sat up abruptly, touching his face with his hand, only to find it filled with the stench of decay. His heart sank as he finally understood his predicament. He had become a zombie. Oly felt a sense of unprecedented fear and despair. He was no longer the human exhilarated by the prospect of escaping work, but a cursed creature destined to wander in this desolate world. However, as he prepared to accept this cruel reality, a glimmer of hope flickered in his heart. Perhaps, beneath this zombie identity, he could find a new way of survival. So, Oly decided not to passively wait for fate's arrangement, but to actively confront this brave new world. He knew that even as a zombie, there was hope for survival. With determination fueling his actions, Urli's mind quickly flooded with several pressing questions. First and foremost, he sought to clarify whether anyone bitten by a zombie would inevitably transform into one. Secondly, he fretted over whether those turned into zombies could retain their sanity like him. Lastly, he wondered if zombies regarded him as prey or kin. Carrying these questions in his mind, Oly cautiously pushed open the door, descending the stairs with trepidation, locking eyes with the zombies. His heart rate quickened. However, to his surprise, the zombies merely glanced at him before continuing their aimless wandering. Observing their reaction, Urli's anxiety transformed into excitement. The zombies seemed uninterested in attacking him, suggesting that amidst this apocalypse, the greatest threat wasn't the zombies. Unable to contain his joy, Oly cheered aloud, hearing Urli's jubilation. The zombies drew nearer, prompting Oly to boldly engage with them. However, the zombies merely swayed their heads unconsciously, searching for the source of the sound. Oly noted that both the first zombie to attack him and the second lacked rationality. Oly couldn't help but wonder if he was an exception. However, he quickly dismissed the notion, as encountering only two zombies wasn't enough to draw conclusions. Upon reaching the ground floor, Oly nervously swallowed and gently pushed open the door. Darn pile of zombies, Oly muttered under his breath. Hundreds, if not thousands, of zombies roamed the streets. It had only been a day since Oly fell unconscious from the zombie attack. Yet the number of zombies outside was staggering. Even though the zombies showed no interest in Oly, he couldn't help but feel fearful of the massive horde. He could see some areas where zombies congregated densely, presumably where tragedies had just occurred. Orlias' apartment was located in a densely populated residential area downtown, and he speculated that some kind of mutation occurred when everyone was heading out for work or school in the morning, resulting in so many people turning into zombies in a single day. Oly headed in the direction away from the city center. He didn't want to stay in such a perilous place teeming with zombies. Along the way, he observed some zombie behavior. When aimlessly wandering, zombies moved slower than normal walking speed. But when they detected humans, their speed increased, although still not as fast as humans running at full speed. After observing numerous zombies, Oly came to a conclusion. He was special. He was a zombie capable of rational thought. Unlike the others who just wandered around, none of the people bitten by zombies could retain their sanity like him after turning into zombies. However, Oly couldn't ignore the smell of blood. Since becoming a zombie, his sense of smell had noticeably heightened, and whenever he smelled blood, he felt a strong desire to drink that blood, to gnaw on the human remains. This made Oly feel disgusted with himself. Before heading out, Oly had intended to find some food in the room to fill his stomach before assessing the situation outside. However, after eating microwave meals and the remaining snacks in the room, he immediately felt nauseous and had to vomit. Combined with the desire for blood, Orlias' mind was in turmoil. He began to wonder, would he have to eat humans to stay alive in the future? Or could he, as a zombie, survive without eating anything at all? Continuing for an hour, Oly finally reached the relatively sparse outskirts. Yet even here, zombies were still everywhere. Suddenly, sounds of a group of people fighting off and fleeing from zombies echoed from ahead. "Hey, come over here!" one of them shouted excitedly. "We need help." Spotting them, Orlias' heart leapt, and he shouted loudly, "Can I join you guys?" Oly sprinted towards them. The survivors, already overwhelmed, panicked even more upon seeing Oly running towards them. One person yelled, "Come quickly and help us." They noticed a talking zombie running towards them and decided to team up against Oly. As Oly circumvented the zombies and approached them, they brandished baseball bats ready to attack Oly. Oly realized that while zombies weren't his enemies, humans weren't his allies either. More zombies were attracted by the commotion, separating Oly from the group. Oly fell into dismay, realizing he could only rely on himself from now on. He wondered whether to seek out his long uncontacted parents. As night fell, Oly arrived at a school. After walking for an entire day, Oly realized he didn't feel tired at all. Even though the sky had completely darkened, he could still see many dark places clearly. This was one of the changes brought about by becoming a zombie. Oly headed towards the school. Though he had become a zombie, he didn't want to roam outside with a horde of zombies at night. Spending the night inside the school seemed like a good option, though he wasn't sure about the situation inside. As he entered the school gates, Oly saw a large number of high school students turned into zombies wandering in front of the school, numbering in the hundreds at least. Clearly, the situation here had been extremely dire when the outbreak occurred. The entrance to the lobby on the ground floor was blocked by numerous obstacles, and the other ground floor entrances were in the same condition. Unable to enter the ground floor, Oly found a suitable spot and climbed up to the second floor. Entering through a window, the situation inside was better than Oly had expected. While scattered debris littered the hallways, there were no zombies wandering around. Classroom doors were sealed, and shadows cast through the windows indicated the presence of several zombies inside. Several classrooms were in the same condition. Perhaps there were survivors in this school. Thinking this, Oly slowed his pace. afraid of being discovered by those surviving students. Samantha, how long are you going to hide? It's just you and me left in this school. There won't be anyone to interfere. Come on. Let's do something comfortable. A male voice said. You lunatic. You've killed everyone else. Stay away from me. A girl shouted. If you keep hiding like this, I'll lose patience. Oh, maybe I should release a few zombies. That might make finding people easier. The male voice continued. The voices from inside the school reached Orlias' ears, and he realized there was a scumbag inside, taking advantage of the apocalypse to do despicable things. Justice surged within Oly, and he began to move towards the source of the voices. I really wish we could turn on the lights. It's so dark. Finding people is not easy, but then all the zombies would gather. Ugh, such a hassle. Oh, the man exclaimed, as if he had noticed something. Ha ha. Look who I found. No wonder the voice was coming from the library. But we couldn't find you. Hiding in the bookshelves. Very clever. The man grinned wickedly, then forcefully knocked down the bookshelf where the girl was hiding. The girl fell from the toppled bookshelf, scrambling away from the man in panic. However, it seemed she had injured her foot when she fell from the bookshelf, so she couldn't run very fast. I'm a thirsty zombie. When I catch you, I'll lick every inch of your body. The man chased after the girl, saying lewd things. Seeing the girl about to be caught, she opened a nearby door and locked it. But the man kicked the door open. The space they entered was a locker room, small and with only one exit. The girl had no chance of escaping from the man. The cat and mouse game ends here. Samantha, you've been so arrogant. I've been wanting you for a long time. I can't wait to see your expression when I'm done with you. I'll give you a choice. Take off your clothes, and I'll be gentle. Or, As the man spoke, Oly walked into the locker room. In the moonlight, Orlias' shadow was cast on the floor at the doorway. The two people in the locker room noticed Oly looking at him, and Oly also saw their faces. Damn it! Another zombie that wasn't locked up. Where the hell did you come from? I was just getting started. What a buzzkill. Watch me smash your head to pieces. The man approached fiercely. The arrival of the unwelcome visitor made Oly know that a battle was inevitable. Oly pretended to be a clumsy zombie, limping towards the man. Just as the man raised his hand high, about to punch Orlias' head, Oly suddenly reached out his left hand swiftly towards the man's abdomen. The man looked at his own abdomen. His clothes were torn apart, revealing four cracks on his abdomen. But suddenly, unable to withstand the pressure, the man's abdomen burst open, various organs and intestines protruding from the rupture, hanging on the edges, and a large amount of blood flowing out. With an incredulous look on his face, the man knelt down. After a few seconds, he finally came to his senses, completely shattered. He frantically stuffed the intestines back into his abdomen, but it was in vain. Seeing this, Samantha, as quietly as possible, moved towards the door along the dark area inside the room. She had been prepared to be violated by the scum, but she was very surprised by the situation. Nevertheless, she had to seize the opportunity and escape while the zombie attacked the scum suddenly. Of course, she couldn't imagine that Oly was different from other zombies, able to see everything clearly in the darkness. As Samantha passed closest to Oly in the shadows, Oly didn't even turn his head to look at her. Samantha breathed a sigh of relief, slightly hastened her pace, and left the locker room. Indeed, Orlias' senses were now extraordinarily heightened, particularly his sense of smell, which was being irresistibly drawn by the smell of blood. Ever since becoming a zombie, Oly had a premonition that he might end up resorting to cannibalism. However, he didn't expect that opportunity to arrive so quickly. No need to share a corpse with a group of disgusting zombies. And the dying scumbag lying on the ground was no saint either. Although Oly wanted to find more excuses to mask the upcoming act of cannibalism, his zombie instincts couldn't be suppressed any longer. Oly pounced. First, he reached out to scoop up the blood from the scum's ruptured belly, then licked it with his tongue. In that moment, Oly felt a satisfaction he had never experienced before. The deliciousness of blood far surpassed any food he had tasted as a human. But it wasn't enough. He wanted more. Oly tore into the scumbag's body crazily, gnawing on the chunks of flesh, sending them into his mouth. The scumbag hadn't died yet. Enduring in agony, he met his end. After a while, Oly finished his meal, his face covered in blood, looking terrifyingly abnormal. Reflecting on his dining experience, Oly concluded that the best parts were the heart, followed by the brain, then the meatier parts of the body. The intestines and other organs besides the heart tasted worse than the flesh and were dirty, so they weren't worth eating. Having finished devouring a person, Oly sat satisfied on the ground, not feeling guilty for the terrible act he had just committed. Instead, "I want to eat more people,"